For most people today, cold is something we rarely need to think about. Buildings block the wind. Modern systems provide food and shelter even when winter arrives. But thousands of years ago, humans lived in environments where freezing temperatures shaped everyday life. Across Ice Age landscapes, early humans faced long winters, changing climates, and unfamiliar conditions. They had no electricity, no modern insulation, and no advanced materials. Yet they survived, not because their bodies were perfectly designed for extreme cold, but because they found ways to overcome the challenges around them. They learned how to control fire, create protection, build shelters, and organize their lives around changing environments. So how did humans manage to live in some of the coldest places on Earth? The answer is not one invention. It is a story of human problem-solving. The world of the Ice Age was far more varied than many people imagine. During this period, which lasted for hundreds of thousands of years and ended roughly 11,700 years ago, many regions experienced colder conditions than today. Large ice sheets covered parts of the northern hemisphere, while other areas contained grasslands, forests, and environments that changed as the climate shifted. There was no single Ice Age experience. Different landscapes created different challenges. For humans living during these periods, survival depended on understanding the places they occupied. They needed to recognize seasonal patterns, locate resources, and respond to conditions that could change from one region to another. Archaeological discoveries from campsites, tools, and animal remains show that humans developed different ways of living across these environments. The cold created the challenge. Human responses shaped the outcome. The human body already has natural ways to respond to cold. When temperatures drop, the body can reduce heat loss and generate warmth through reactions such as shivering. These responses help humans handle temporary exposure to low temperatures. But humans are not physically specialized for extreme cold in the way some animals are. We do not have thick fur or natural insulation designed for freezing environments. This created a different path. Instead of relying only on physical traits, humans developed ways to change their surroundings. Tools, materials, and shared experience allowed people to create protection beyond their own bodies. The challenge was not solved by becoming a different kind of animal. It was solved by finding new ways to live. One of the most important technologies in cold environments was fire. Evidence suggests that humans used fire hundreds of thousands of years ago, although researchers continue to study exactly when and how regular fire use developed among different populations. Fire changed human possibilities. It provided warmth, created a more controlled space, and allowed people to remain active during colder conditions. But its importance went beyond heat. Fire supported cooking, helped process materials, and extended activity after darkness arrived. Most importantly, fire required knowledge. People needed to understand how to maintain it, where to find fuel, and how to use it effectively. Its value came from the ability to control it and pass those skills between generations. Fire helped humans remain in cold environments, but people still needed protection when they moved through them. This created another challenge: how to carry warmth beyond the camp. Clothing became one answer. Archaeological evidence suggests that early humans used tools capable of working animal materials, including hides. However, the exact origins of clothing remain difficult to determine because organic materials rarely survive over thousands of years. The evidence shows that humans were capable of transforming materials from their surroundings into useful objects. Animal hides, fibers, and other resources could become protection against wind and cold. Clothing changed what was possible. It allowed humans to carry an additional layer of protection wherever they traveled. But humans did not only carry solutions, they built them. Shelter created a protected space within difficult environments. Archaeological discoveries show that prehistoric humans used different forms of shelter depending on their surroundings and available resources. Some groups used caves or natural rock shelters. Others created temporary structures using materials such as wood, bones, hides, and vegetation. There was no single Ice Age home shared by all humans. A shelter in one region could look very different from one built somewhere else, but each required planning. People had to select locations, gather materials, and organize their activities around a shared space. Shelter was not simply a barrier against the weather. It was a way of creating stability in uncertain environments. Behind these technologies was something even more fundamental: people working together. Fire needed to be maintained. Materials needed to be prepared. Shelters needed to be built. Food needed to be collected and processed. These tasks became easier when information and skills could be shared. Archaeological evidence from prehistoric sites suggests that humans lived in groups where cooperation helped manage daily challenges. A useful technique could be taught. Knowledge of landscapes could continue across generations. Environmental pressures may have influenced how groups planned and worked together, but cold alone did not create human society. Humans already had social abilities before facing Ice Age environments. The challenge of cold simply made cooperation especially valuable. Survival also depended on understanding food resources. In colder environments, availability could change with the seasons. Animals moved across landscapes. Plants became less available during certain periods. Weather conditions affected where resources could be found. To respond, humans needed a detailed understanding of their surroundings. They observed animal behavior, recognized seasonal patterns, and developed tools for collecting and processing resources. But there was never one universal Ice Age survival strategy. A group living in one environment faced different conditions from a group living somewhere else. Human solutions depended on local landscapes and the resources available within them. The story of surviving the cold was not created by one dramatic breakthrough. Fire was important. Clothing was important. Shelter was important. But each worked as part of a larger system. Humans survived because they could combine different skills and apply them to new challenges. They observed the world around them. They remembered what worked. They shared what they learned. Over generations, these abilities allowed humans to live in environments that demanded careful planning and creativity. Today, modern technology has transformed our relationship with winter. Heating systems, buildings, transportation, and global food networks protect many people from challenges that once shaped human life. But the evidence from the past reveals a deeper lesson. Early humans survived cold environments, not because they were naturally built for them, but because they could create solutions. They learned from their surroundings. They developed tools. They organized communities. They responded to change. The story of Ice Age survival is not only about enduring cold. It is about the human ability to face unfamiliar conditions and find new ways forward. Across thousands of years, that ability has remained one of the most important parts of our shared history.